Let's start with the next one, which is Carbise Company. Prepare an explanatory note for the directors of Carbise which addresses the following issues. The meaning of an entity's presentation and functional currency. Explain your answer with reference to how the presentation and functional currency of bike light should be determined. 7 marks. Easy, bro. Easiest thing ever. Calculation of goodwill on acquisition of bike light and what the balance would be at 30th September. Immediately before the disposal of the shares, your answer should include a calculation of the exchange difference on goodwill for the period 1st of Jan 2006 to 30th September 2006. An explanation of your calculation of goodwill and the treatment of exchange differences on goodwill in the consolidated financial statements. You do not need to discuss how the disposal will affect the exchange differences. 9 marks on goodwill, 7 on presentation and functional currency. Explain why exchange differences will arise on the net assets and profit or loss of bike light each year and how they would be presented within the consolidated financial statements. Your answer should include a calculation of the exchange differences which would arise on the translation of bike light, excluding goodwill in the year ended 31st of December 2006. And calculate the group profit or loss on the disposal of bike light. ठीक है. And how it would be treated and presented in consolidated financial statements. First of all, I want someone to read the background info and the bike light trading information वाला part. ठीक है. Yes, Mr. Shah.
रीड करूं सर?
हाँ जी, पढ़ना है सिर्फ
हाँ हाँ.
ये.
Carbise is the parent company of an international group which has a presentation and functional currency of dollar. The group operates within the manufacturing sector. On 1st January 2002, Carbise acquired 80% of equity share capital of Bike an overseas subsidiary. The acquisition enabled Carbise to access new international markets. Carbise transfers surplus work in progress to Bike which is then completed and sold in various locations. The acquisition was not successful as anticipated, and on 30 September 2006, Carbise disposed all of its holding in Bikelight. The current year ends on 31st December 2006. Bikelight Trading Information. Bikelight is based overseas where the domestic currency is dinar. Staff cost and overhead expenses are all paid in dinars. However, Bikelight also has a range of transactions in a number of other currencies. Approximately 40% of its raw material purchases are in dinars and 50% in the yen. The remaining 10% are in dollars, of which approximately half were purchases of material from Carbise. The ratio continued even after Carbise disposed of its share in Bikelight. Revenue is involved in equal proportion between dinar, yen, and dollars. To prevent itself from exchange rate risk, Bikelight retains cash in all the three currencies. No dividends have been paid by Bikelight for several years. At the start of 2006, Bikelight sought additional debt finance. As Carbise was already looking to divest, funds were raised from an issue of bonds in dinar, none of which were acquired by Carbise.
Okay. Now the first part is you have to explain what is presentation currency and what is functional currency, and then we have to explain what would be the how to determine presentation and functional currency of bike light. First of all, when Carbis acquired 80% of the equity shares of Bike Light, is it possible for, I mean, usually the rule is ki what is the functional currency of the holding company would end up becoming the functional currency of the subsidiary, given that, there is heavy dependence between the two. Do you see that happening here?
No, sir.
No.
Only
So
like
Yes.
there is only statement regarding the excess work in progress being
yeah.
transferred to bike light. That doesn't mean that bike light is entirely dependent on the Carbis company.
Okay. Now we know there are three primary conditions and two secondary conditions. So let's start analyzing one by one. Can you tell me the first of there are three primary conditions, right? What is the first one that comes to your mind?
Currency that influences the sales.
Okay. Is any information given to that effect?
No, sir.
The currency which influences the selling price of goods and services.
No, sir.
Okay.
It is given, sir, but it is in equal proportion of dinar and
Sir.
rupee.
Okay. And Bikelight very clearly has considerable autonomy over its activities. It is not in that way, under the spell of Carbise company. So functional currency of holding need not become the functional currency of subsidiary. Okay. Then
Operating expenses.
currency which influences the wages and salary cost and material cost and all of that. Do you have anything suggesting that particular currency? कुछ है यहाँ पे?
Sir, majority is paid through dinar.
Majority is paid through dinar. Okay.
No, 50% is Indian. So that is not majority.
And see, like raw materials are paid in 50%. Staff and overhead is paid in dinar only, no?
Yes, but 50% is, as a whole will be like all three factors are equally contributed in that point. Like you see, all material, labor, and other overhead costs should be considered. So
40% of material is in dinar, 50% is in yen. Remaining 10% is in dollar, which approximately of which approximately half for purchases of material from Carbis. Revenue is in equal proportion, 50% between these, or not 50, dinar, yen, and dollar, 33, 33, 33, right? Bikelight retains cash in all the three currencies. No dividends have been paid. At the start, Bikelight sought additional debt finance. As Carbis was already looking to divest, funds were raised from an issue of bond in dinar, none of which were acquired from Carbis. What do you think?
Sir, I still think dinar, sir.
Now,
dinar in this point, like, the raising of debt fund in dinar makes it dinar.
Okay. So primary factors, I think, are not really helping you. Na? They are
Yes, sir.
inclusive. Secondary factors, the currency in which financing activities, funds from financing activities are obtained. Do we have any information to that effect?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So does it appear that dinar is the functional currency for Bikelight?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Raising wala bit, right? Otherwise, revenue mein it's equally split. Cost also is inconclusive. Competitive forces wala to kuch information is not there only. So that will help you to decide, which is why that does not help you to decide. You have to go to secondary factors. Even there, the currency in which operating receipts are retained, that is also quite inconclusive. वो है ही नहीं वो उसका equally retained हुआ है. Which is why then dinar becomes the functional currency because that is the currency in which the funds from financing activities are raised. Okay.
so in this case, there is no information about the competitive forces or taxation or regulation. So should we mention that as a pointer in primary indicators?
Yes. So you should say that this is third point you should mention. This can be used as a determinant, but the question is silent. We don't have any information on that.
Okay.
So you
So
are
the structure would be first, it is not dependent on the parent company. So the parent's functional currency is not the functional currency here also. And then the three primary indicators, and then go for the secondary indicators.
correct. And there negate the uh, retained wala indicator first and then come to this. Don't just say ki, oh, it is the currency in which funds are raised, so we are going ahead with that. The reason why I am telling you to do that is they have specifically mentioned that receipts from operating activities are retained equally in 1, 2, 3. ऐसा mention किया है आपके लिए, correct? So
Yes,
that
sir.
is the reason why they expect you to negate that point. Okay, and plus it is for 7 marks. If you write everything properly, you will get all 7 marks here. Okay. Now, A2, calculation of goodwill on acquisition of Bikelight. When was the acquisition done?
1st of
2002.
January
1st of
2002.
January 2002.
1st of Jan 2002. Current year end is
31st December 2000. मतलब
So,
sold किया 30 September को, but year end is 31st December.
what happened on
31st
30th
December
September?
20. They dispose of their shares.
Disposal of
Disposal of the shares. Okay, so you will need goodwill on disposal date and goodwill on acquisition date. ठीक है. Do we have enough information to calculate both of these?
Yes, sir.
I believe we do. First of all, let's calculate the goodwill in functional currency of the foreign subsidiary. See, I'm not doing the first part of the question again. Functional currency, presentation currency, that I'm not doing because I'm quite sure you know how to deal with it. We have discussed the point. Goodwill at disposal date. Okay. What is fair value of consideration paid?
100 million in dinar.
100 million in dinar for 80% of the ordinary share capital of Bike Light on 1st of Jan 2002. Okay. Let me call this particulars. This is amount in dinar. Amount in million dinar. Let's put it that way. What is fair value of consideration paid? 100. Do we have fair value of NCI on acquisition date?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
22
sir.
million.
22 million dinar. What is fair value of net assets of subsidiary at acquisition date?
60 plus 20 million.
60
Yes, sir. The fair value adjustment.
plus fair value adjustment of 20.
60 million plus 20 million fair value adjustment. Correct? So
Yes, sir.
T, goodwill at acquisition date is 42. Let's see if there is any impairment that has taken place.
6 million.
6 million. $36. Okay. Now, what should we do?
Convert it into dollars.
Convert it into dollars.
So this is goodwill at 31st December 20x5, not disposal date.
Okay. And then it was sold on 30th September 2006. Fair enough. So here, what we are going to do is convert using opening rate, then convert using average rate and convert using closing rate. Opening rate कितना है? $1 equal to 0.5 dinar. $1 equal to 0.5 dinar. So amount in $1 million. ठीक है. Won't it be this upon 0.
84.
इसको you have to convert using average rate. Have they given? Average rate is $1 equal to 0.4 dinar. $15. So your calculated value should be 69. है ना?
Yes, sir.
What else then?
Goodwill at 31st December.
What is the rate? $1 equal to 0.38 dinar. Where will the difference go?
Gain on translation.
Okay. Pakka?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. This is on 31st of December 2005. Now, we need the value on 30th of September 2006. Correct? So there is a rate that is given to us. उसको फिर से we'll have to apply that. $1 equal to 0.35. Goodwill at 30th September 2005.
6, sir.
This was 36. This in dinar is still 36. But then this becomes 0.35.
September
30 September
2006.
2006.
Sorry. Again 8.12. Where will this go?
Translation. Gain on
Gain on
Translation
translation.
reserve.
translation.
So can't we do this directly on
No,
September
because
2006?
no. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You should go step by step because they are different, milestones in the journey. Go step by step. Don't just go to it directly. ठीक है? बस इतना ही था. Now, third part, an explanation of your calculation of goodwill and the treatment of exchange differences on goodwill in consolidated financial statements. Tell me, how does this work out? Exchange differences on translation of goodwill, where does that go?
Translation reserve.
Balance sheet in translation.
Translation reserve.
Foreign currency translation reserve, right? Will you be able to write the explanation? Straightforward and nothing out of the ordinary in that one. Explain why exchange differences will arise on the net assets and profit or loss of Bike each year and how they would be presented within the consolidated financial statements. Your answer should include a calculation of the exchange differences which would arise on the translation of Bike excluding goodwill in the year ended 31st of December 2006. Explain why exchange differences arise on translation of net assets and profit. Why do they arise?
Because net assets are calculated on closing rate, profit and loss is calculated on average rate.
Okay. And that is the reason. No, I'm not doubting you. I'm just,
Yes, sir.
you doubt yourself. Bolo. So why are only two people answering? Why is everybody else sleeping? Exchange differences arise because P&L, as in the business transactions that take place, these business transactions are basically at the average rate. They are translated at the average rate, whereas the items in the balance sheet, which is your net assets, they are translated at the closing rate each year. And naturally, that is reason enough for difference. Correct? And again, it is going to be consolidated for 9 months only in the year 2006, then you lose control. So again, there would be differences there. Now, last part of the question. Calculate the group profit or loss on disposal of Bike. This is disposal of a foreign interest, है ना? Disposal of subsidiary है, but tell me, is it complete disposal or is it part disposal? या is it control to control? क्या है situation?
Complete disposal है.
Complete disposal है. Okay. So how do we calculate the gain or loss on disposal?
तो disposal का formula है ना, disposal proceeds less net assets at
Net assets
disposal
plus
plus
goodwill minus
goodwill
fair value when share
minus
adjustment.
fair value.
Okay. So you need net assets on disposal date. You will need goodwill at disposal date. Then you will need NCI at disposal date, correct? Then you will,
Yes, sir.
and then there are exchange gains or losses that were there, in foreign currency translation reserve. Those will have to be adjusted here, and then you will get the group profit or loss on disposal, correct? Tell me, what are the proceeds of disposal?
150 million in dinar.
150
Oh, sorry,
million.
dollars. Sorry.
$150.
Okay. Now, we'll need net assets on disposal date, correct? What are opening net assets?
80 million dinar.
80 million, sir.
Okay. Then you will have to add foreign exchange gain or loss. So not foreign exchange gain or loss, profit or loss for the 9 months. But see, when I say opening net assets, I mean net assets on 31st of December 2005. That will be my opening net assets, right? Kitna hai wo? Do we have any information to that effect?
No, sir.
So we'll have to calculate that, correct?
Yes, sir.
80 is the net
48
assets.
million dinar.
80 is 60 plus 20. 80 is net assets on date
48
of acquisition.
1st
कैसे?
जनवरी को.
Carbise measures NCI at this and fair value at this. Due to poor performance, it was decided to impair goodwill. Okay. What is the amount of net assets on at the beginning of 2006? How will you calculate that? दिनार बता दो, चलो फिर उसको डॉलर में कन्वर्ट कर लेंगे. Tell me the dinar value. How did you get 48, Vardhan?
So the carrying amount is given in the question.
सर साइड में दे रखा है ना.
Okay. Carrying amount of Bikelight's net assets is 48 million dinar. Okay. Now you will have to do what? Any other
9
adjustment?
months का प्रॉफिट ऐड कर देंगे नेट एसेट्स में, जो 8 मिलियन का 80% होगा.
Okay. Don't
वो
you
तो
think
लॉस है ना.
don't you think this particular ये जो 20 million का था, relation to a building which had a fair value of dinar 20 million above its carrying amount, उसका भी तो fair value ऐड करना पड़ेगा ना?
Yes,
डेप्रिसिएशन
sir.
एडजस्ट करके वो भी ऐड होगा.
Depreciation adjust करके कितना होगा? $20 million was the fair value adjustment on 1st of
तो
Jan.
16 मिलियन ऐड होगा.
We are on 1st of Jan 2006. So 2002, 3, 4, 5, 4 years have gone by. ठीक है, तो 4 साल का depreciation will be how much? 20
4
million minus 4 million, right?
4.7.
20 minus 4, 16. So 48 plus 16 net assets on 1st of Jan 2006. 48 million plus 20 minus 4 fair value adjustment. है ना? This is 48 plus 16, that is 64. ये कौन से currency में है? This is in
Dinars.
dinar.
this is in,
दिनार.
and I have to of course convert it into dollar, and I will also need the exchange rate. How much will it be? Exchange rate कौन सा कुछ दिया है आपको?
31 दिसंबर 2005 की यूज कर लेंगे.
0.38 वाला यूज करना पड़ेगा.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. Then impairment loss, नहीं sorry, 9 month का loss, not impairment loss. ये Bikelight's had a loss of 8 million dinar less 9 months loss in Bikelight's. कैसा है? 8 million into
by 9 by 12.
9 by 12
into 80%.
into 80%. Why is that?
No, so sorry. But
Now you will have to convert this using what rate? You will have to convert this using the average
average.
Right.
The average rate for 9 months,
37.
0.370.
कितना होगा? The calculated number.
Depreciation for 9 months.
What depreciation for 9 months?
This,
तो
Sir,
revalue
this
करने के बाद फिर
revaluation
revaluation adjustment
excess
that will
1.5,
have
yeah, is there, so.
Should you or should you not?
We should include it, sir, because we are
we
adding
should,
fair value
But
adjustment.
will that 9-month adjustment, 9-month loss include that depreciation in bike light ki no?
No, sir.
no,
हाँ सर इंक्लूड हो जाएगा क्योंकि वो तो ऑपरेटिंग लॉस है ना.
No, in bike light, they wouldn't have adjusted for fair value adjustment. It is given at carrying.
It is
we
on.
are adding that adjustment separately in the net assets calculation. Therefore, we should take depreciation also separately.
What do you think should happen? Tell me. तब तक मैं I will calculate net
तो
asset.
डिप्रिसिएशन अलग से आएगा क्योंकि सेपरेट फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स के लॉस में थोड़ी ऐड है वो,
क्यों नहीं होगा सेपरेट फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स के इसमें?
क्योंकि फेयर वैल्यू तो अपन कंसोलिडेशन में ले रहे हैं, सेपरेट में नहीं.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Naturally, fair value adjustment is for consolidated financial statements. ठीक है. Less depreciation for
Fair value.
9 months. Is you calculate that? Just give me a moment.
0.75.
This will have to be included because ये standalone में तो include नहीं हुआ है, obviously. So how much will this be? 1 million for the year into
0.75.
9 by 12 है ना? Again convert it using average rate. 150.18. अब यहाँ पे क्लोजिंग रेट है 30th सितंबर 2006 का. $1 equal to 0.35 dinar. Is it right or is it not right? Now it's okay. So, according to the calculation, net assets should be 150.18. On 30th September 2006, it should be 163.57. The difference is 13.39. Current year Forex translation gain. Correct? Gain ही होगा ना कि लॉस होगा? बताइए.
Gain.
Gain होगा. ठीक है. This depreciation adjustment was critical because in the 8 million loss that you have, it is loss of subsidiary in its standalone financial statements. Revaluation was never done in standalone financial statements. The only reason why revaluation happened was that at the time of consolidation, the net assets of the subsidiary have to be translated at the have to be of course included at their fair value, which is why the fair value adjustment happened there. ठीक है. ये हो गया आपका नेट असेट्स का कैलकुलेशन, ठीक है। देन सिमिलरली यू विल हैव टू कैलकुलेट, सी गुडविल एट डिस्पोजल डेट हमने कैलकुलेट कर लिया है ना यहाँ पे। यस, वी हैव गुडविल एट डिस्पोजल डेट हियर। We'll need NCI on disposal date, right? NCI at 1st of Jan 2006. Have they given it to you? Yes, $47.8 million. ठीक है। Then NCI share of loss of post acquisition loss कैसे करेंगे? The loss for the year is how much?
8
8
million
million.
dinar.
8 million dinar.
8 million dinar. It will have to be converted into
9
First,
months.
at what rate?
Average.
30th
Average
September.
rate.
So 8 upon 0.35. Is it about right?
No, sir, you did
It's
2.5.
2 point.
Mm-hmm.
You did
You
divided by
you
2.
did 2.5, sir.
0.24.
So 8 million to be divided by how much?
3.5.
0.37.
3 some. 3.7.
22.86. इसमें share of NCI 20%. But this is for 9 months.
9 months.
So 3 point, actually, you know what? Let me,
तो डिवाइड भी 37 से होगा ना।
3.7 से होगा कि 3.5 से होगा?
एवरेज रेट तो
3.7.
37.
Average rate.
Average rate is 0.37. Okay. So share of loss of
We
NCI
have to remove that 9 by 12 from that also.
3.24.
Yes, sir.
This much is 47.8, 3.24, and anything else?
Sir, convert that 47 into dinar. That's like it's in dollars.
But did we not convert
Ah,
the dinar into dollar already? This is $3.24 only, na?
sorry.
Yes, sir.
So you adjust for your share of loss. What else do you adjust for?
Depreciation.
Why depreciation?
डेप्रिसिएशन का जो वो एक्सपेंस है वो भी एनसीआई को एट्रीब्यूटेबल होगा।
Same reason as.
Otherwise, loss नहीं तो already.
So how much should it be? Should it be this into 20%? $3.65. No, this is depreciation. This is loss. Okay, then the foreign currency translation reserve, a part of that gets added to whatever is the calculation. Uska 20% gets adjusted in NCI calculation, right? If you remember,
Yes, sir.
foreign currency translation reserve to the extent of the share of NCI gets adjusted in NCI. The remaining 80% is shown as foreign currency translation reserve. तो कैसे आएगा आपका forex gain? There is forex gain of 13.39. ठीक है. Plus there is forex gain on translation of goodwill 8.12 and इसका 20% 4.30. What is value of NCI on disposal date? 48.45. Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is share of forex translation gain. ठीक है. This is loss 9 months. ठीक है. NCI भी आ गया आपके पास. Cool. अब proceeds of disposal 150. उसमें आप ऐड करेंगे यहाँ पे net assets at disposal date, add goodwill at disposal date, ठीक है, minus NCI at disposal date, and then there is so exchange gains यहाँ पे what are the total forex gains? 13.39 है, 8.12 है. This gets recycled to P&L account. Do you agree कि जो forex gain है after disposal of the subsidiary which was so far sitting in foreign currency translation reserve, don't you think that will go back to, it will get translated to, मतलब वहां से उठ के वो चला जाएगा equity में. तो how much is the total amount of foreign currency translation gain or loss? वो calculate करो, that amount should go there. कितना आएगा?
ओपनिंग फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स भी ऐड करेंगे ना.
ये माइनस कर दो. Tell me, do we have any other information on forex? कुछ है अपने पास?
Cumulative
1 जनवरी के
So
रिजर्व्स
cumulative gains.
कितना है? Tell me.
74 समथिंग.
74 something. Okay. उसमें क्या करेंगे? What will we do to it?
उसका 80%
Allocate
होल्डिंग कंपनी को एट्रीब्यूटेबल है.
उसमें
20% to NCI.
देखो, क्यूमुलेटिव एक्सचेंज गेन्स ऑन बाइक लाइट 74.1, ठीक है, और इधर 13.39 प्लस कहाँ चला गया? 8.12, करेक्ट.
Yes, sir.
टोटल 95.61, attributable to holding company 80%, ठीक है. This is the net gain, or sorry, गलत जगह पे लिखा, not here, I should write it here. $8.52. अब let me take you to that part of the discussion जहाँ पे ये actually discuss हुआ था अपना. It's a very small point which we might end up missing out on in our regular discussion. Let me take you there. So, on the disposal of foreign operations, the cumulative exchange difference recognized as OCI and accumulated in separate component of equity becomes realized. IAS 21 requires the group share of these exchange differences are reclassified to P&L on the disposal of foreign operation. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे what happened is there were foreign currency gains. 74.1 was Bakelite का gain plus 21.51 which was on account of translation of goodwill and net assets. उसका total लिया, वो total का 80% निकाला which was the part attributable to holding company that was reclassified to P&L. Earlier it was sitting in foreign currency translation reserve. अभी उसको हमने foreign currency translation reserve में से निकाल दिया and we put it in the regular P&L retained earnings वाला part. So यहाँ पे when we are calculating the gain or loss on disposal, we adjust that amount and we get 8.52. ठीक है,
So one question.
बोलो.
हमने ये जो ओपनिंग लिया हमने 74 वाले, हमने एनसीआई वाले में कैलकुलेशन में इंक्लूड किया था.
Cumulative exchange gains on Bakelite.
सॉरी.
उसमें देखो, इन एनसीआई कैलकुलेशन व्हाट ऑल आर वी सपोज टू इंक्लूड, ये जो है ये क्यूमुलेटिव एक्सचेंज गेन्स ऑन बाइकलाइट है, ठीक है. दिस इज द गेन मेड बाय द होल्डिंग कंपनी, दैट इज कार्बिस कंपनी. दिस इज नॉट गेन ऑफ बाइकलाइट कंपनी नहीं है. ठीक है, ये होल्डिंग कंपनी का क्यूमुलेटिव एक्सचेंज गेन ओवर द ईयर्स है, ठीक है, ऑन acquisition slash disposal in its consolidated financial statements. ये जो 21.51 है ये ट्रांसलेशन वाला गेन है, सो ये नेट असेट्स एंड गुडविल रिलेटेड है, विच बेसिकली गेट्स एट्रीब्यूटेड टू बोथ होल्डिंग एंड एनसीआई, बट दैट पार्ट डज नॉट गेट एट्रीब्यूटेड टू बोथ।
डन सर, क्योंकि वो सिर्फ
वो नेट असेट्स में
वो
ऑलरेडी
होल्डिंग
जा चुका
रिलेटेड
है
है।
ना, वो एक
डन
बार
या
नेट असेट में जा चुका है, वॉट एवर इज द गेन और लॉस ईयर ऑन ईयर, तो वो नेट असेट में जा चुका है ना, तो वो बार बार इंक्लूड नहीं होगा, वो ओवरऑल पेरेंट कंपनी का फॉरेक्स गेन है। दिस इज बेसिकली with respect to the adjustment which we did for NCI, that is with respect to translation differences with respect to net assets and goodwill, तो वो दोनों में एट्रीब्यूट होगा। लेकिन ये 74.1 जो है उसमें 80% होल्डिंग कम, वो एनसीआई में ऑलरेडी आ चुका है। क्यों आ चुका है? बिकॉज एवरी ईयर यू आर डूइंग नेट असेट गुडविल का रिट्रांसलेशन ना, तो बाय 30th ऑफ सितंबर 2006 दैट हैज बीन इंक्लूडेड। बट अभी होल्डिंग कंपनी में अपने को पूरा का पूरा गेन अभी रिक्लासिफाई करना है, राइट, विच इज वाई वी आर इंक्लूडिंग दैट, सो दैट इज नॉट एट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ गेन, दैट इज जस्ट रिक्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ गेन, ठीक है। और दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम इन वॉट एवर क्वेश्चंस वी हैव डन कि मैंने आपको सिर्फ शॉर्टकट में आंसर लिख के दिया है, हाँ, अदरवाइज the calculations I do are pretty detailed, ठीक है।
मतलब एनसीए की जो वैल्यू थी 1 जनवरी 2020 पे, उस पर मेरा फॉरेन गेन का 20% उसको एट्रीब्यूटेबल था।
Yes, value of NCI on disposal date, ठीक है, NCI at acquisition date नहीं, NCI at 1st of Jan 2006 less 9-month loss,
Less depreciation.
add share of forex gain, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा 8 इंटू 9/12 डिवाइडेड बाय 0.37, है ना, 6 divided by 0.37, nine months depreciation, ठीक है। शेयर ऑफ फॉरेक्स गेन 13.39 प्लस 8.2 इंटू $4.32, 48.47, ये हटा दो, ओके। गेन और लॉस ऑन डिस्पोजल, प्रोसीड्स ऑफ डिस्पोजल, एड व्हाट एल्स, ऐड नहीं, यहाँ पे होगा लेस नेट असेट्स ऑन डिस्पोजल डेट, ऐड गुडविल ऑन disposal date less NCI on disposal date, net assets on कितना है नेट असेट्स ऑन डिस्पोजल डेट का वर्किंग 163 चलो इधर आते हैं। ओपनिंग नेट असेट्स ऑन 1st of Jan 2006 48 million plus 28 minus 4 million 64 then less 9 months loss less 9 month depreciation 9 months loss होगा 6 ये होगा 0.75 64 को when you want to convert we will use 0.38 we will use 0.37 we will use 0.37 ठीक है। क्लोजिंग रेट है 0.35 again this is forex translation gain net assets ठीक है। सो प्रोसीड्स ऑफ डिस्पोजल होगा आपका 150 नेट असेट्स ऑन डिस्पोजल डेट है गुडविल ऑन डिस्पोजल डेट है कितना एनसीआई ऑन डिस्पोजल डेट है 217.96 टोटल गेन विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू और टोटल फॉरेक्स गेन विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू सब्सिडियरी 74 opening plus 13.39 on net assets plus 8.2 on goodwill कितना होगा 74 plus this share of holding reclassified this into 80% add share of holding reclassified share of holding in forex gain reclassified to P&L 76.47 gain slash
टेक्निकली देखें तो लॉस हुआ है ना, ये तो बस मार्केट मूवमेंट से प्रॉफिट दिख गया।
correct 8.5. ठीक है. The reason I did the whole thing, I don't want screenshots coming to me on 30th of November कि ये number कहाँ से आया. ठीक है. So all the calculations have been given to you. Everything has been discussed in detail with respect to Carbise company also.